Within the crowd, Luo Feng looked up at the distant castle at the screen formed by the light beams. There were 68 astronomical treasures on the screen, causing Luo Feng to feel a strong desire to possess them. Probably none of the 10,000 explorers here didn't want to get one, it was just that they didn't have the ability to. It's a pity no one dares to fight with the ninth prince. If the situation isn't chaotic, I can only watch obediently. Luo Feng's gaze swept across the distant front, at the ninth prince who was being surrounded. You want these treasures? The white-bearded old man laughed loudly. You only need to use Thunderstones to exchange for them. Every treasure here could be exchanged for a lightning stone. Look, every treasure has a detailed price. Immediately the list on the screen changed slightly. Number 1, full set of Space Technique Inheritance Crystal Ball Bank accounts, 3 accounts. Every account costs 10 million Thunderstones. Once all 3 accounts are combined, you can retrieve the Inheritance Crystal Ball from the Universe First Bank. Number 2, Master's Bank account, requires 8 million Thunderstones. Number 3, Domain Lord Level Bloodline Medicine, 1 portion. Every portion costs 3 million Thunderstones. Number 4. Number 9, Life Fruits, 3. Every one costs 800,000 Thunderstones. Number 32, D6 Grade Rail Cannons, 3. Every one costs 210,000 Thunderstones. Number 68, Level 5 Genetic Energy Weapon Skyfire Wheel, 1. Every one costs 100,000 Thunderstones. The entire list immediately caused everyone below to go crazy. What's a Thunderstone? I've never heard of a Thunderstone before. To actually be able to exchange for these treasures, the Thunderstones must be very valuable. The discussions were unceasing. Are you curious about what a Thunderstone is? In the air above the castle, the white-bearded old man formed by the light beams smiled. Thunderstone, this is the name I gave it. This stone is a unique stone in this world within a world. Speaking of which, it's not worth much, but it's unique to this world within a world. Look carefully, this is a Thunderstone. The screen showed a picture of the Thunderstone, along with a large amount of detailed information. Silence. The 10,000 explorers all quietened down, carefully observing the appearance of the Thunderstone, or using the quantum computer or AI to swiftly record it down. However, the Thunderstone is different from the Universe Crystal. The Thunderstone's energy is very low, hence your energy measuring devices have a hard time detecting it. To make things easier for you guys, this is the Thunderstone distribution map. The white-bearded old man waved his hand again and a map appeared on the screen. This is a simple map of the world within a world. The entire world within a world is divided into mountain ranges, swamps, deserts, etc. It can be split into 26 regions. The Thunderstones are scattered in some of the 26 regions. The map shows the distribution of the Thunderstones. Go dig for Thunderstones. You can kill each other for the Thunderstones, I won't care. As long as you have enough Thunderstones, you can exchange them with me for any treasure you want. The white-bearded old man had a hint of madness in his eyes. If you want a treasure, then go for it. I'll wait for you in the castle. After obtaining the Thunderstones, come to the castle and exchange them for treasures with me. The white-bearded old man's silhouette dissipated, leaving only the big screen above the castle. More than 10,000 people were silent. Then the sound of discussion gradually increased. In the crowd. That's great. Thunder God lowered his voice, his face full of excitement. Luo Feng too was filled with excitement and joy. Using Thunderstones to exchange and a Thunderstone unique to the world within a world. What exactly is this white-bearded old man thinking? Babata's voice resounded. From the way he spoke, this guy has definitely evolved into a living AI. Lonely for tens of thousands of years? Living AIs also have emotions like being moved, longing, hatred, loneliness, etc. Being lonely for tens of thousands of years, this white-bearded old man is definitely sick. Babata, who cares if he's sick or not as long as he can exchange for treasures with us? Luo Feng said within. Understood, it's rare for me to meet a living AI, I'm just surprised. Babata said. Living AIs were very rare. Because to evolve into a living AI was very difficult. First, one had to already have an extremely high level of AI, after experiencing large amounts of things, along with a long period of time, only then would there be a chance of evolution. If one didn't evolve, AIs were just tools. And the moment they broke through, they would become a special form of life. Just like the pinnacle race of the vast universe, the automaton race, was essentially a living AI race. It was just a living AI with a mechanical body, etc. Seize the time. Quick. 171819, 3 large formations, 1 small team. Head towards the nearest swamp area on the map and dig for the Thunderstones. The people of the North Dragon City shouted loudly and swiftly split up. All the adventurers, if you want to leave the world of thunder and still be able to leave SwallowedStar alive, then please help us. Quick, let's all move. This way. Below the castle, the 5 groups swiftly moved. 200 to 300 people each formed a small team and swiftly flew in different directions. Begin the fight for the Thunderstones. Everyone was clear. The ones who dug the earliest had the highest chance of success. LuoFeng's group of 5 was from the North Dragon City's 18th formation. Right now, they had already formed a team of close to 300 people and swiftly headed towards the swamp area. The vast group of people broke through the air and flew swiftly. Crazy. Thunder God shook his head. This fight for the Thunderstones will make everyone go crazy. Just now, I saw that the 9th prince who was at the front had a really ugly expression on his face. How could it not be ugly? Luo Feng laughed. This treasure trove was originally meant for the ninth prince to keep for himself. Who would have thought that something like this would happen? That's right, after a true absolute warrior dies, everyone will split their treasures. Back then, the master of the Unimo planet was like this, the Sector Lord Kabu was the same. Luo Feng. Back when we first arrived along the way I discovered 2 Thunderstone areas. Only back then I thought it had no value and ignored it. Babata's voice resounded. 2 Thunderstone areas? Luo Feng's heart was filled with excitement. That simple map of the distribution of the Thunderstones was very simple. One had to know that the entire world within a world spanned over 1,000,000 kilometers. That map only let people know about it. There were probably some Thunderstones in a certain area. As for the exact location, one had to slowly search for it. The Thunderstone's energy reaction is very low, much lower than universe crystals. Hence, searching for Thunderstones is very difficult for other adventurers. At least, in the early stages we have the advantage. However, once the 2,000,000-strong army arrives, I believe that 2,000,000-strong army will definitely bring along many precious scanning devices. When that time comes, our advantage will be gone. Babata said. Luo Feng nodded to show he understood. The treasure this time had already attracted the attention of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's few large powers. How could the army behind not have made their preparations? Close to 300 people flew in the air above the world within a world. Along the way there were members who escaped. The Thunderstones are the real treasures. We'll go dig for them ourselves. Even if we rely on the Thunderstones to join other organizations like the Black Cloud Guild, 100 Tiger Building, Black Dragon Mountain etc., I think those organizations will definitely be willing to pay a high price for the Thunderstones. When that time comes, we'll naturally be able to leave SwallowedStar safely. If we're lucky we might even be able to exchange for a treasure. Then we'll be rich. Many of the adventurers had such thoughts. After seeing the treasure the ambitious ones would want to exchange for it. Like Luo Feng and his group. The less ambitious ones would also want to get their hands on the Thunderstones and join other organizations, using them to sell for a high price. This caused the close to 300 people to frequently escape during the flight. And the internal members of the North Dragon City couldn't control them at all. World within a world the sky was pitch black. 5 beams of light were swiftly flying through the air. It was Luo Feng and his group that had escaped. Babata, how much longer? Luo Feng was in an excited state. According to this speed, after 3 hours and 29 minutes, we'll reach the Thunderstone region. Babata replied. Good. Luo Feng's blood was boiling. 68 types of treasures. Every one of them was worth thousands to tens of thousands of times more than what Luo Feng had on him right now. Even a single treasure was sufficient to make a region lord level expert go mad with greed. One could only imagine how valuable these treasures were. If I don't fight for this opportunity, I'll be struck by lightning. Luo Feng thought. If a god blocks, I'll kill him. Thunder God used Chinese to shout. Crazy. Humans could go crazy. 300% profit was enough to make a businessman go crazy. 10 times profit was enough to make Luo Hua and the other financial investors go crazy. And the treasures Luo Feng and his group encountered. Even a universe-level warrior would fight for it, domain lords would kill each other. These star levels? How many of them wouldn't go crazy? Along the way they met a team of explorers. After a slight detour, they reached their destination in 3 hours and 40 minutes. At this time the sky was still pitch black. This was a grassy region within the thick grass. There were 5 people squatting: Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, Tainan He and Aogu. About 800 m below, there are Thunderstones within a 20 kilometers radius. There's a total of 128,926 Thunderstones. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. There might be more in the surrounding area, however I'll need to search carefully. I can only search within a 20 kilometers radius. 128926? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, his eyes slightly bloodshot. He still clearly remembered the exchange prices of the 68 treasures on the screen. The last level 5 genetic energy weapon Fire Wheel only required 100,000 to exchange. Meaning, the Thunderstones discovered within a 20 kilometers radius were enough to exchange for 1 treasure. Luo Feng, how many Thunderstones are there? Hong and Thunder God looked at Luo Feng. 128926. Luo Feng said softly. Hong's face immediately flushed red. Hong stared wide-eyed, his eyeballs almost popping out. He only said, damn. We've really struck it rich this time. Hong couldn't help but say. We'll be even richer. If we don't grab this opportunity we'll regret it later. Luo Feng couldn't contain his excitement. Hurry down and start picking up the Thunderstones. Nanhe, you're in charge of covering the surroundings. Yes, master. Tainan said respectfully. Luo Feng was the first to drill into the ground, after which Hong, Thunder God, Aogu and Tainan followed. Go Mo Yun. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Immediately slender vines extended from his arms, almost like 10 arms, swiftly extending and grabbing the Thunderstones. P.S. First chapter here. Today is Saturday. Tomato will work hard to catch up. He still owes 1 chapter before Friday. And there was only 1 chapter yesterday on Friday and it was late. Tomato still owes everyone 3 chapters. Work hard, today's goal is 3 chapters. The Thunderstones were all very smooth, every one of them about the same size. The largest was only twice the size of the smallest. Simultaneously, the Thunderstones contained threads of thunder energy. This made Luo Feng guess, this Thunderstone was probably a special stone that was born when the world within a world was opened. 128,926. Even if one picked up 100 in a second, it would still take close to 1,300 seconds. What's more, even if the cloud contact vine had many vines, there were still a few smaller vines. However, as it needed to drill through the ground, the time required was very high. Picking up the Thunderstones takes quite a bit of time. Underground cave, Thunder God exclaimed. We have the cloud contact vine, hence it's faster. If we purely relied on fighters to find it, even if we had spirit readers, drilling would be troublesome. I estimate that over 1,000 people would only be able to catch up to the speed of one cloud contact vine. Luo Feng laughed. As a plant, the cloud contact vine's roots were originally good at penetrating the soil, plus it was very thin, hence it could drill very quickly. If it was a human with the world within a world soil and rock sturdiness, it would indeed take a long time. Luo Feng and his team waited patiently within the cave, letting the cloud contact vine do all the work. 2 hours later. It's all done. Luo Feng was extremely excited. He couldn't help but touch the vine wrapped around his arm. Cloud contact vine, it's been hard on you. I've needed your help these few days. Come eat a Muya crystal. Luo Feng threw a crystal to the cloud contact vine. The extended vine immediately wriggled excitedly. Because during its first evolution, it had already been recognized by Luo Feng. Hence the cloud contact vine was very attached to Luo Feng like a parent. This is a thunderstone. Luo Feng flipped his hand, a thunderstone appeared. The incomparably slippery stone seemed to have some thunder energy within, however it was very little. Let me see. Thunder God took it curiously. Over 120,000 thunderstones. Hong couldn't help but exclaim, this kind of encounter, it's really extremely lucky. Make use of the time. Right now time is thunderstones. Time is a treasure. Luo Feng laughed and said, leading the way towards the surface. Go, let's head up. The five swiftly reached the surface. Luo Feng, the thunderstones in this area, I estimate the area is more than 20 kilometers. Take a look around. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Understood. Luo Feng and the other four quickly moved around the area. There are 16,924 stars in this 20-kilometer area. There are 9,156 of them within a 20-kilometer radius. There are 3,208 of them within a 20-kilometer radius. There are 853 of them within a 20-kilometer radius. Haha, we've struck it rich. Luo Feng, this 20 kilometers area actually has 159,835 thunderstones, close to 160,000. Babata shouted excitedly. Indeed. This area of thunderstones was spread out over a radius of nearly 100 kilometers. There were two areas that were relatively concentrated. One was the first one Luo Feng and his team mined. There were 128,926 of them. There was another place where nearly 160,000 of them were found later. In other places there were more than 10,000, and the lowest was less than 100. Fortunately, Babata's detection was very clear. This really is a great treasure. Thunder God was extremely excited. So many treasures. Tainanha and Aogu, the two slaves, were also amazed. These thunderstones represented incomparably precious treasures. That was a treasure that even the Realm Lord valued greatly. If they were to buy the star level 9 slaves, they could easily form a strong army. Dig. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, ordering. Immediately Luo Feng and his team began to dig. Relying on the cloud contact vine, they swiftly began the process of grabbing thunderstones. Luckily, this region was extremely far from the core region. Luo Feng and the others had been flying from day to night without stopping. They only arrived here at night. As for the other 10,000 adventurers, most of them were searching near the core area. After all, there were many thunderstones in this area. Compared to that, 10,000 explorers was really not much. Mo Yun, it's been hard on you. Luo Feng was extremely elated, feeling his blood boil. This time, after spending over 8 hours, they finally dug out all the thunderstones in this area. Not a single one was left. How many? Hong couldn't help but ask. 30, how many thunderstones do we have? Thunder God couldn't help but ask. Adding the 128926 we dug at the start, right now our total amount of thunderstones is a total of... Luo Feng smiled, 396201. Damn, close to 400,000? Thunder God stared. Just from this area we've struck it rich. Hong laughed. That was indeed the case. This area's thunderstones, if it was any other team digging, they would probably have a hard time clearing it all. After all, some were scattered densely, some were scattered sparsely. Luo Feng relied on Babata to search and dig out all the thunderstones. In an instant he obtained close to 400,000 thunderstones. That level 5 genetic energy heavenly fire will only had 100,000. Let's go, we'll make the best use of our time and head to the next place. Luo Feng said. Back when they were rushing over, Babata had discovered 2 places along the way. This was just one place. Right, the next place. Thunder God's eyes gleamed, almost like a beggar seeing a mountain of gold. From the core region to the first digging point they spent close to 10 hours. And the digging time was close to 11 hours. Luo Feng and his team continued to fly. After spending close to 38 hours, they finally reached the second digging point in the mountain range region. The sky was pitch black. This was a continuous mountain range region. The mountain range was filled with lush vegetation and trees. According to the simple map of the thunderstone distribution, within this 20,000 kilometers area, there are 2 thunderstone areas. However, 20,000 kilometers. Every area requires quite a bit of time, normal scanning equipment is completely useless. Only the top 2 sets of equipment are effective. Relying on these 2 to cover the entire 20,000 kilometers area, how long would that take? Stop complaining, just do your work seriously. A majestic team of over 1,000 people were spreading out and searching, and the conversation just now was between 2 of the team members. About 18 kilometers away from this group of troops. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, Tainan He and Aogu, the 5 of them were squatting on the ground. We're in big trouble. Hong said softly. The 2 million army outside has already arrived. Luo Feng was anxious. At least in this forest there's a team of about 10,000 people. They were preparing to head to the second digging point, but who would have thought they would bump into a team of 1,000, hence they immediately took a detour, but after taking a detour they actually bumped into another team of 1,000. Along with the people flying in midair from afar. Guessing. In this mountain range region, there should be a large team of close to 10,000 gathered. There were originally only around 10,000 explorers, it was impossible for so many to suddenly appear. Then there was only one possibility, the 2 million army had arrived. Actually, when the castle announced the treasures, the 2 million army's vanguard had already arrived, only they were in the surrounding areas. And after 2 to 3 days. In the world within a world, many areas of the 2 million army appeared. As for the simplified map of the Thunderstone distribution, obviously the 2 million army had obtained it too. Quickly, continue taking a detour. Luo Feng ordered. Night within the mountain range. Luo Feng and his team swiftly took another detour, along the way they bumped into another team of 1,000 taking another detour. After flying a few thousand km they finally reached the second digging point. They haven't dug here yet. Luo Feng and his team hid in the thistles and thorns, extremely excited. Obviously there were no signs of digging in this area. Babata scanning also meant that there were many Thunderstones underground. Thunderstones aren't like universe crystals, it's very hard to scan. From the conversations of the scouting team members, this large team only has 2 sets of the best equipment to scan. Babata said proudly, and that map of the Thunderstones distribution is just a simple one, the entire world within a world is over 1,000,000 km wide, at most it lets people know that there are Thunderstones in an area of tens of thousands of kilometers. Dig. Luo Feng ordered decisively. The 5 of them swiftly dug into the ground, Tainan He was in charge of covering up the surface of the hole they dug. Underground. This 20 kilometers area, there are 210,397 Thunderstones. Babata said. Cloud contact, it's up to you. Luo Feng didn't dare hesitate with a thought, a large amount of slender vines extended from Luo Feng's arm, swiftly penetrating into the soil, continuously penetrating in all directions. Babata was in charge of guiding. The cloud contact vine was in charge of grabbing the Thunderstones, the vines extended into the rocks and soil, touching a Thunderstone, the vines would immediately grow leaves, swiftly wrapping around the Thunderstone. 20 kilometers long, under the terrifying gravity of the world within a world, even a star level 9 would need to fly for close to an hour. The most important thing was, a 20 kilometers diameter area, required multiple rounds of flying, these top-level equipment, due to its meticulous scanning, didn't cover a large area. For example, Babata's 20 kilometers area was already considered very strong. Even if it was a 20 kilometers scan, a 20 kilometers area would require a total of 1,000 scans. Flying once in an hour with 2 sets of equipment, it would still require a total of 500 hours to complete the scan. After excavating for over 3 hours, the slender vines swiftly shrunk, becoming smaller and entering Luo Feng's skin. Very good, this area has already been excavated. Go take a look around. Luo Feng communicated through his spirit reading, everyone be careful, don't get discovered. The 5 carefully and swiftly exited the underground area, beginning to swiftly explore the surroundings. Very quickly they had explored the entire area. This Thunderstone area was 96 kilometers long, 129 kilometers wide, such a large area. There were 3 areas that were more concentrated. There were 210,397 stones just excavated, 128,302 stones, and 198,355 stones in these 3 places. The other areas were all below 50,000 with at least a few hundred. Overall this area was much more than the last time Luo Feng excavated. Go to the next area, 198355. Luo Feng swiftly ordered. Every second counted. Every minute represented a large amount of Thunderstones being excavated. When Luo Feng and the others were nervously excavating, there would occasionally be a few teams flying past, however they didn't know that there were people underground. You all go over there and dig. This area hasn't been scanned by the equipment yet. Yes, Captain. A small team finally rushed over to the area Luo Feng and the others were excavating. Captain, Thunderstones, there are Thunderstones here. What, Thunderstones? Quickly informed the head captain and the sector lord. Luo Feng, quickly, there are people digging underground. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Luo Feng's expression changed. And the cloud contact vine was swiftly excavating. Every second the amount of Thunderstones it excavated was constantly rising. They've excavated Thunderstones, they've reported it. Quickly, many members are coming down. Quickly leave. Babata roared. Cloud contact vine, quickly, quickly, quickly. Luo Feng ordered. The cloud contact vine swiftly retracted, not caring about the other Thunderstones. In a blink of an eye, it completely retracted back into Luo Feng's arm. Go. Luo Feng ordered. Everyone be careful, the moment we're above ground, immediately follow me and run. Right now there are already over 1,000 star level 9 warriors outside. It's just a forest area, we still have a chance of escaping. Luo Feng instructed via genetic energy, the other four nodded. Relying on Babata's scanning, Luo Feng was very clear on the distribution of over 1,000 star level 9 explorers outside, only then did he have the confidence to escape. However, even though he was clear, there were over 1,000 people, there were too many. To evade so many people's eyes and ears, he had to be extremely careful and with a bit of luck. Charge. Luo Feng communicated through his spiritual force. So, 5 beams of light shot out of the ground. Luo Feng and the others spent about 6 hours just digging. As the night passed, the outside world was already filled with light. Follow me. Be careful, don't make any noise. Luo Feng communicated through his spiritual force, swiftly entering the forest. As for Babata, the artificial intelligence lifeform, he quickly calculated the most suitable escape route. There's someone over there. It's not our people. Chase. Immediately, over 100 star level 9s swiftly chased after them. Even though Babata's calculations were accurate, they couldn't expect Luo Feng and the others to follow the AI's calculations. They've disappeared. They disappeared in that direction earlier. There were already a few hundred people floating in mid-air, carefully looking around. Only the trees were huge, the leaves were luxuriant, the places that had grown for over 10 million years had long become intertwined. It was almost impossible to see the ground through the leaves. Luo Feng and the others fled quickly and strangely. You guys this way, we'll go this way quickly. Luo Feng and the others fled tens of thousands of kilometers in one breath before stopping. Phew, we finally escaped. Thunder God rubbed his head, there were beads of sweat on it, laughing. That was really dangerous. It was very dangerous. If we were in the grass plains or plains, we'd be doomed. That would be the end. Hong sighed. Luo Feng nodded. It was because it was a forest area with undulating mountain ranges, dense foliage, that made it easy to escape. If it wasn't for the forest area, I wouldn't have dared to take the risk when I first discovered so many people. Luo Feng laughed. Haha, Luo Feng, you punk are very cautious. Thunder God laughed. Right, how many Thunderstones have we dug up here? Just now in that region, there were 3 places that had a higher concentration of Thunderstones. We dug the 2 places with the most, 210397 and 198355. However, the second place, we only dug half of it, we didn't have time to dig it all. About 170,000. Luo Feng smiled. Adding it all up, we've dug up a total of 380,000 in this forest area. How many are there in total in that area? Hong asked. About 630,000. Luo Feng smiled. Not bad, we've dug more than half of it. Hong nodded, while Thunder God curled his lips and said, if that group of people had been a few hours slower, we would have taken more than 90%. At the first excavation site, we dug out nearly 400,000. At the second excavation site, we dug out nearly 380,000 of them. Luo Feng smiled. We've already dug close to 780,000 Thunderstones. However, the 2 million strong army has already begun to occupy the various regions. Therefore, we must seize this bit of time and try our best to find more lightning stones. Once all the Thunderstone regions are occupied, we will have no more hope. The other 4 nodded. Right now the 2 million adventurers army had just arrived, some early and some late. Adding on the vastness of the world within a world, it would indeed take a few days to completely occupy the Thunderstone region. There was still a chance in the next few days. An inch of time is an inch of gold. Time was extremely precious now. Luo Feng and his team relied on Babata's scouting and constantly flew towards the distant regions. Because the 2 million strong army was constantly dispersing from the entrance. The further they were from the entrance, the more hope they had. This huge flight took more than 8 days. Luo Feng and his team didn't rest at all during these 8 days flying non-stop. They finally managed to get a piece of meat. The 2 million strong army has pretty much occupied all the Thunderstone regions in the world within a world. We don't have many chances left right now. Let's return to the core region and head to the castle to exchange for treasures. Luo Feng and his team swiftly flew under the 1,000 kilometers large lake, after which they quietly rushed out of the water. Haha, these 8 days we've earned quite a bit. Thunder God laughed. Hong smiled too. We've earned quite a bit. Luo Feng was very happy. 8 days of non-stop flying was very tiring, but luckily they found a Thunderstone region that no one had excavated. Even though the amount wasn't as exaggerated as the second time, it was still very close to the first region's amount. Luo Feng and his team were extremely satisfied. After all, these 8 days were all about luck. The 3 regions we've excavated add up to a total of 1125638 Thunderstones. Luo Feng was extremely happy. After completing their search for Thunderstones, Luo Feng and his team began their journey back to the core region. On the way back, Luo Feng and his team clearly discovered that the areas marked out on the Thunderstone division map back then, all had teams already. Every region had at least 10,000 people gathered. This made the small teams have no hope at all. Tomorrow we'll be able to reach the castle. Searching for Thunderstones took 11 days, flying back took another 5 days, over half a month of non-stop rest. Everyone have a good rest tonight. In the forest not far from the core region, Luo Feng and his team finally stopped to rest. 16 days of non-stop rest. Tired? Even though they were a little tired, they were all very excited. The process of searching for Thunderstones made them nervous and excited, and now that they were going to exchange for treasures, who wouldn't be excited? 30, what treasures are we exchanging for this time? Thunder God couldn't help but ask. We have a total of 1.12 million Thunderstones. Luo Feng looked at Hong and Thunder God. Big brother, second brother, you guys have the list too, what are you preparing to exchange for? D6 grade rail cannon. Thunder God was filled with anticipation. That's a D6 grade rail cannon, even a domain lord level 6 fighter would find it hard to block that shot. This type of restricted level weapon, and it's a D6 grade, it's definitely a sky-high price. If we leave this place we won't have this shop anymore. Right. Luo Feng couldn't help but nod. D6 grade rail cannon. Hiding and shooting a domain lord from afar, killing them instantly. This type of restricted level weapon. Many sector lords didn't even have one. It wasn't that they didn't have the money to buy it, it was just that they didn't have the channels. Or to sector lords it wasn't worth buying. The 11th ranked Heart of Stars. Hong's eyes gleamed. This Heart of Stars, you guys know about it too. Right. Luo Feng was a little moved. The Heart of Stars was a very mysterious item. In the vast universe there were some planets that could nurture life such as plants, beasts, humans, etc. These life planets all had life cycles. When a life planet dies of old age, within its core there would be a certain probability of nurturing a crystal that gathered all the remaining life energy, the Heart of Stars. Stupid, stupid, stupid. That sharp and clear voice, filled with anger and dissatisfaction, shouted out. Oh Babata? Luo Feng was suspicious. What's up? Don't tell me you're preparing to exchange for the D6 grade rail cannon, for the Heart of Stars? The D6 grade rail cannon, first of all, its size is huge, and second, the cannon shell needs to continuously accelerate within the cannon. Just the preparation itself takes about 30 seconds. The most important thing is, that automaton ship on Earth, that's an undying ship. Babata said, that's the undying that died on the Yun Mo planet ship. Right? Luo Feng remembered clearly. Back then, amongst the undying that died on the Yun Mo planet ship, there was indeed an automaton warrior. The automaton race is known for their technology. Within their ship, there's definitely something stronger than the D6 grade rail cannon. Babata said, in the future we'll get something much better than this. Is there a need to waste the Thunderstones? As for the Heart of Stars, it's a good item. It has an effect on the body's evolution but the speed is too slow. It's very good for normal fighters. However Luo Feng, you have the golden horn beast body, hence your body's evolution won't have any bottlenecks, you can greatly improve and evolve. There's no need to be slow at all. Babata said, as long as you have enough wealth, you can have many ways to evolve. There's no need to use the Heart of Stars. Also, you've made a huge mistake, that is, no ambition. Babata was unhappy. No ambition? How so? Luo Feng was suspicious. Looking at how you're preparing to exchange for treasures, are you planning to end it after you're done? Babata asked. Luo Feng said helplessly, the world within a world has already entered the 2 million army, all the Thunderstone regions have been occupied. Right now there's no hope of getting any more Thunderstones. I believe after this, it'll be a period of slaughter. Everyone will be fighting and killing for the Thunderstones. Under the 2 million army slaughter, my little team only has 5 people. Stupid. Life fruit, the 9th ranked life fruit. Babata shouted. What's wrong with the life fruit? Luo Feng was suspicious. The life fruit contains large amounts of life energy. As long as a sector lord's soul doesn't scatter, no matter how heavy his injuries, one fruit will be enough to recover. It's a sector lord's second life. But what does it have to do with me? I'm not going to use it now, right? You can use it, why wouldn't you? Babata said, the fruit of life contains extremely pure life force, you should know the use of life force. I understand, don't the Muya crystals contain life energy? Luo Feng was clear, the Muya crystals can allow humans, plants and animals to evolve. Right, evolve? Babata said, the Muya crystals can allow humans to evolve, and the trillions of times more precious life fruit can also allow humans, plants and animals to evolve. Accurately speaking, it's a Muya crystal that's thousands and tens of thousands of times more advanced. Even a sector lord's injuries can be healed in an instant. You're saying for me to consume the life fruit, let me evolve? Luo Feng asked. Wrong. Don't tell me you've forgotten about Earth, the result of some monsters swallowing the Muya crystals? Babata said. Luo Feng remembered. On Earth, during the Misty Island incident, there were monsters that swallowed the Muya crystals and self-destructed, while there were others that successfully evolved to the Emperor level. The main thing was cell activity. The stronger the cell activity, the more it could be consumed. Just like that tentacle monster, it became an Emperor-level monster. The life energy of the life fruit is incomparably condensed and pure. If you were to swallow it, you'd immediately explode. Babata said, only those with extremely strong cell activity with extremely large bodies can absorb as much life energy as possible to evolve. You're saying? Luo Feng's eyes lit up. Right, the Cloud Contact Vine. Babata said, right now the Cloud Contact Vine is at the Star Level 4 stage, its limit is to split into 36 main vines, and every main vine can split into many smaller vines. At the same time, one main vine can reach a maximum length of about 30,000 m. At the same time, it has an equally large root system. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. Back on Misty Island, that Star Traveler level Cloud Contact Vine, one vine was already 2000 m long. At the same time, the Cloud Contact Vine cell activity is extremely strong. Babata said, back on Misty Island you know that too. That average-looking cloud contact vine, even if it was cut off, it would quickly regrow. In terms of cell activity, this one of yours has been specially nurtured, it's much stronger than that one. In terms of cell activity, this cloud contact vine, because of its species, I'm afraid even a domain lord might not be able to catch up to it. Along with its incomparably large body. Shocking cell activity. Incomparably large body. This is the best medium to absorb the life fruit. Also, you don't have to worry about it exploding. If it can't absorb it, just cut off a few vines, letting the life energy dissipate. It won't die. Babata was extremely excited. Cell activity even stronger than a domain lord, 36 vines that are 30,000 m long, and an enormous root system. The moment it eats the life fruit, it'll definitely be able to rapidly evolve. Right now it's a star level 4, relying on the life fruit, breaking through to the universe level in one go is definitely no problem. When that time comes, with the universe level cloud contact vine as a helper, you can easily kill the leaders of many teams and take away their spatial storage items, stealing their Thunderstones. Babata was extremely proud. First invest in the life fruit, strengthening the cloud contact vine. After that, relying on the cloud contact vine to steal even more Thunderstones, exchanging for even more treasures, that's the way of the king. LuoFeng's blood was boiling from Babata's words. The cloud contact vine was a very strong support plant life form, otherwise the Yun-Mo planet master wouldn't have nurtured one himself. The moment it reached the universe level, with the universe level cloud contact vine strength, the vines that emerged from the ground could easily kill a fighter. When that time came, even though the opponent had the numbers, killing the leaders and stealing the storage items wouldn't be too difficult. Right. What's 1 million Thunderstones? First let the cloud contact vine become incomparably strong, then get more Thunderstones. Luo Feng made his decision. The next morning, the white ball of light shone down from the sky of the world within a world. Luo Feng and his team headed towards the core region. The core region of the plains, the Thunder Castle was right there. Luo Feng and his team looked at the distant core region. Third brother. Hong slightly creased his eyebrows. There are so many people in the core region. That's a lot. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. In the distance, the core region of the Thunder Castle was densely packed with explorers that covered the land and skies. It was like a sea of people. It was much more than any team Luo Feng had seen on his way here. Seems like exchanging for treasures isn't that easy. Thunder God muttered softly. A level 4 genetic energy weapon would sell for close to 100 billion Ganwu dollars. A level 5 genetic energy weapon would sell for close to 100 billion universe dollars. That was close to 100 million cubic meters of universe crystals. A normal domain lord who had just broken through to Sector Lord would feel the pinch. Only Sector Lord Kabu, this kind of Sector Lord pinnacle who was incomparably wealthy, comparable to a poorer undying, would have such shocking wealth. Time passed minute by minute. The ancient castle, people frequently entered, and almost all of them wore masks and helmets. No one knew who exchanged for treasures and who didn't. Who? Luo Feng took a deep breath, wearing his alloy armor and helmet, only his eyes could be seen. He walked straight towards the castle. Walking out of the crowd, he walked towards the castle alone. This made many people look over, carefully examining Luo Feng. No one could confirm whether this person walking towards the castle was really going to exchange or not. Your Majesty, these are the Thunderstones from the second large team. They've mined 2 regions and killed 3 small teams. They've acquired a total of about 2.1 million Thunderstones. Within the allied army, surrounded by 8 bodyguards, the 9th Prince Luo Lin sat there. Beside him a man respectfully handed over a space wrist guard. 2.1 million Thunderstones? Luo Lin received the space wrist guard, saying softly, pass down the order, get the other large teams to quickly send the Thunderstones over. That inheritance crystal ball's 3 password exchange requires a total of 30 million Thunderstones. We're still lacking a lot. Yes, Your Majesty. The man nodded respectfully. Luo Lin slightly turned his head, glancing towards the castle. At this time Luo Feng had just stepped into the castle. Humph, a bunch of poor bastards. Luo Lin laughed coldly, going to exchange for treasures, all of them hiding their heads and tails. The last thing they exchange for are still the weaker ones. I don't even care about the second-ranked Thunder Sector Lord's bank account, only that incomparably precious full set of Space Technique Crystal Ball is the most important. More important than all the other treasures combined. Your Majesty. Another man rushed in, bowing respectfully handing over a space ring. This is the 5th large team's 1.68 million Thunderstones. Luo Lin's eyes gleamed, picking up the space ring and swiftly standing up. Let's go, follow me into the castle, it's enough to exchange for the first password. Yes. Luo Lin brought his 4 bodyguards, not bothering to hide his identity, heading straight towards the castle, immediately attracting the gazes of countless people from the allied army. The grass on the plains moved with the wind, and in the distance, a large number of explorers surrounded the Thunder Castle. So many people surrounding the Thunder Castle? Luo Feng looked from afar, creasing his eyebrows. The scene before him obviously showed that this large number of people were working together to seal off the path towards the Thunder Castle. Even if you had Thunderstones with them blocking the way outside the castle, what could you do if you couldn't enter? Big brother, second brother, I'll go find Lord Mingyu. Luo Feng communicated through genetic energy. Hong and Thunder God nodded. Luo Feng closed his eyes, swiftly connecting to the virtual universe network. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay. Luo Feng stood on his own lawn, before him floated a screen, on it appeared an incomparably tall and sturdy man. It was the Virtual Universe Company's Black Dragon Mountain Military Department external manager. Haha, Luo Feng. Mingyu laughed loudly, smiling happily. Lord Mingyu. Luo Feng bowed slightly, expressing respect. I can see that the core region has been heavily surrounded by a large number of explorers. What's going on? Oh, monopoly. On the screen Mingyu smiled. This is a decision made by the large organizations after finding out about the castle's AI life's bounty. They've all sent out 10% of their men, forming an allied army. Surrounding the castle, controlling it, forbidding anyone who isn't part of the organizations from entering to exchange for treasures. Oh. Luo Feng realized. Tyrannical enough. 10% of their men, that was about a 200,000 strong army. A 200,000 strong star level 9 army, sealing off the path towards the castle, that was simply too easy. That way, even if other random explorers acquired Thunderstones, they wouldn't be able to enter to exchange. However, you'll be fine, you Hong and Thunder God, the three of you have information, I've already sent them to the temporary command center under the name of my men. Hence if you go over, the 200,000 strong army will know that you are under my 3-axe mountain Mingyu, they won't stop you. Mingyu smiled. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Cautious enough. He actually gathered everyone's information. The moment one wasn't on the list, they wouldn't be able to enter the Thunder Castle. Lord Mingyu, my little team still has 2 members. Luo Feng sent over Tai Nan He and Ao Gu's information. Alright, they can follow my orders. Mingyu smiled. Thank you Lord Mingyu, then I'll leave the virtual universe network first. Luo Feng bowed. Ha! Oh right Luo Feng, you're heading to the castle now, you should have some gains? Mingyu asked, his eyes filled with anticipation. The situation in the world within a world, I believe Lord Mingyu knows about it. Luo Feng said helplessly, with the arrival of the 2 million army, my 5-man team has no chance at all. On the screen Mingyu nodded slightly. However, we will work hard and not let Lord Mingyu down. If you risk your life in exchange for treasures. Luo Feng smiled. Don't worry, I won't treat you badly, Mingyu said straightforwardly. Thank you, my lord. Then communication was cut off. A world within a world. The wind howled, Luo Feng and his team swiftly flew towards the distant allied army. Halt. The majestic army of adventurers was like an impenetrable fortress. Not even a mosquito could think of sneaking in. One of them, a man with a lion head, stretched out his hand and shouted. Luo Feng and his team landed. We are under Lord Mingyu of the 3-axe mountain. Thunder God shouted. Ah. The lion-head man, his dark yellow pupils swept across Luo Feng and his team. Behind him there was a majestic army of close to 1,000 people. There was a total of close to 200,000 army surrounding the castle, of which they were split into 36 teams for defense. Every team had 1,000 people. At all times, they would maintain a high alert of 36,000 people, with another batch of people replacing them. They would definitely not let go of anyone not part of the organization. D. The lion-head man lowered his head to look at the AI screen on his arm. The screen indeed showed Luo Feng and his team's faces and simple information. The lion-head man carefully looked at the 5 of them. Haha. The lion-head man let out a carefree laugh. So it's the brothers of the 3-axe mountain. The 3-axe mountain people aren't far from here, the 5 of you just have to ask around and you'll be able to find them. Thanks. Luo Feng smiled. The 5 of them immediately entered the vast crowd. And the lion-head man communicated through genetic energy. 5 of you, do you have any Thunderstones to sell? We're willing to pay 10 cubic meters of universe crystal for 1 Thunderstone. My apologies, my lord forbids buying and selling. Luo Feng communicated through spiritual energy, glancing at him. Anyway, your lord doesn't know how many Thunderstones you've acquired here. The lion-head man communicated, why don't you sell a bit in exchange for some universe crystals? Oh, let me think. Luo Feng smiled. After which, he brought the 4 of them and swiftly left. Watching Luo Feng and his team leave, the lion-head man rubbed his thick big nose, scoffing unhappily. Obviously he wasn't happy about not being able to exchange for any Thunderstones. The allied army was stationed, tight on the outside but loose on the inside. The 36 teams outside were incomparably serious, however the inside was filled with laughter and discussions. Even quietly there were many transactions of Thunderstones. As the saying goes, every man for himself, heaven and earth destroy him. Everyone was a star level 9, there were indeed many transactions of Thunderstones. Within the crowd, Luo Feng and his team sat in a circle on the grass, the entire allied army also sat in groups of 2s and 3s, there were even many who scuttled here and there to carry out transactions. That lion-head man before was really unscrupulous, saying 10 cubic meters of universe crystals for 1 Thunderstone. Look, the transactions over here, there are people saying 100 cubic meters of universe crystals, even 200 cubic meters of universe crystals for 1 Thunderstone. Thunder God said unhappily. Universe crystals may be valuable. However, compared to those treasures, it's nothing. Ong said. Exchanging for treasures. Luo Feng looked ahead at the ancient castle. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Luo Feng looked at the castle for a total of 3 hours. Within these 3 hours he discovered a few peculiar things. Occasionally, there would be people dressed in armor with helmets covering their entire heads entering the castle. In a short 3 hours, there were already close to 100 people entering the castle. Don't tell me in these 3 hours, 100 people went in to exchange for treasures? There's only a total of 312 treasures. Luo Feng said suspiciously. Haha brother, you're wrong. A skinny monkey-like silhouette walked past and stopped, smiling as he looked at Luo Feng. Brother, out of 10 people who enter the castle, 9 out of 10 are here to join in the fun. You have to know, this allied army may be called an allied army, but it's actually split into many small teams, representing the various domain lords and sector lords. 2 million army, the battles later on will definitely be intense. Hence no one wants others to know they've acquired treasures. Hence, they'll arrange for their underlings to enter the castle, purposely misleading people. They'll even fork out money to let the other teams enter. Anyway, just entering the castle for a walk would earn them a large sum of money. Who wouldn't be willing? The skinny monkey smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng realized. A smoke bomb? Right. The allied army may be called an allied army, but they weren't united internally, they were all wary of each other. Brother, do you have any Thunderstones for sale? I can give you a high price of 250 cubic meters of universe crystals for 1 Thunderstone. The skinny monkey man laughed again. I'll give you 300 cubic meters of universe crystals for 1 Thunderstone. Luo Feng looked at him. The skinny monkey laughed awkwardly and left. The Thunderstones represented those treasures. No matter how high the price, it wasn't considered expensive. It was just that some people were bullying star level 9s who couldn't resist the temptation of money. 300 cubic meters of universe crystals, that was equivalent to 1 billion Ganwu dollars. How could normal star level 9s resist the temptation? However, those treasures, like a level 5 genetic energy weapon, when sold outside, it would fetch a terrifyingly high price. A normal level 3 genetic energy weapon would sell for 20 to 30 billion black dragon dollars.